what's mine? Yeah, it's a matter of time. Woo, woo. Haters gon' laugh now. Bet the car later. Worry about yourself, get to the paper and fuck all them haters. What you do? Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. Motivate, motivate, motivate. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. Motivate, motivate, motivate. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play.
I personally want to talk about what basically an earlier person tried to talk to me about earlier, the casino. How do you personally feel about if we would have had the casino or if we didn't have it?
So I'm kind of mixed on it. So, I mean, I feel like the casino, I guess, is a good idea to bring, to boost the economy of Richmond or Virginia or Richmond. So I think it was a good idea, but I just felt like it was a bad idea too. So like I said, it was mixed because like it would bring a lot to the community. I mean, a lot to the Richmond community, and it could have brought some newer things. But I'd have been to Vegas, and I just seen the bad side of it. So when you look at it, you see like all these people on the street, homeless or asking for money. I mean, it's what really bothers me about the casino is like if you grew up in the like around a church or like around stuff like that, like you realize that casinos is not supposed to be supported by like the church or whatever. So once the church started supporting casinos, it kind of like, I mean, some just morally didn't sit right with me about churches and pastors supporting the casino. I think some stuff is just better left alone when it comes to like religion or when it comes to like moral, like things with morals, you should just stay out of it, even though it might be better in it. But, I mean, I just felt funny with a pastor endorsing a casino. I mean, taking money directly from the community, and of course they're going to have the money. The casino's going to have the money because you taking the money out your pocket to go gamble with it. But that's how I kind of feel about it.
Well, no, I agree with you 100% on that, big time on that. I feel that, when you preach certain things, like, people always look at it, it's a good and a bad to it when it comes just to gambling. But you got to realize that gambling is just as worse as, shooting yourself with heroin or sniffing coke. Like, it's very addictive to the point that, some people have to go to go get help for it. People have to go sit there and, to get monitoring their money and stuff like that. That's like having the ability to basically be rich and or somewhat wealthy with just like a roll of a dice or just a pull of a hatchet, like, and it's just like,
it ain't gonna happen, man.
Yeah, and it's just like they build an establishment to not only make money but manipulate people to be like, hey, you come spend your hard earned here. Just think that little $50, $200 that you sit there and spend, that can make you
millions of dollars.
Yeah, it could be $1 million,
I ain't feeling that idea,
man. Yeah, my biggest issue with it, me personally, I felt that, and people have their own opinions about this. They may sit there and say, oh, well, no, that's not the issue or whatever. But I truly believe that if it did go through, obviously I wasn't really a big fan of it. But if it did go through, I really felt like we're already in a state of mind right now to where things are getting really expensive right now. And I really believe, like, if this would have happened, I believe certain things that we always didn't think that would increase in payment would have increased to like personal property tax.
Yeah, Richmond,
everything, because you have to realize something that serious and a bigger, like in an establishment right there, like it has to, like, the financially to support that, it has to come from something. And that's what people, I'm not sitting there saying you got to sit there and be in front of a TV or be in a class to understand that, but you just got to be realistic on a whole lot of things when you think about how do you think that stuff has to be supported. Like, that money has to come from somewhere.
I mean, I was looking into it, and I seen that the property they was going to put the land was owned by Philip Morris. So now not only is it tied in with the city, now you somehow tied in with Philip Morris. So you saying it's black owned, which doesn't really mean nothing. But you saying those things to get certain people interested into it. And then, like I said, it's land. You putting it on land that's owned by Philip Morris. So I look at like, what does Philip Morris have to have? What does Philip Morris have to have with the deal? I mean, is the casino buying the land from Philip Morris or what? Because it's all a bunch of big corporations tied in together trying to make some money. And I mean, I don't know. I just ain't feeling the idea. I mean, but it probably would have boosted the economy up, but. Like, when it comes to the city, I feel like why we can't fix our diamond, fix our Coliseum, it's so many, like, the schools, like, in the city. And they saying, like, the casino would have boosted the schools, but it got to be some kind of other way that we could boost the schools. And just the conversation of the casino, so many people talking about it, but the city schools and the county schools, we're not talking about just grades and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it just was a distraction. And that's how I believe the casino would have been anyway, as a big distraction. When you're feeling down, you go to the casino. When you feel like you can make some money, you go to the casino. And we already got the lottery. We already got FanDuel. We already got all these other things that we could use to gamble with. And like I said, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have went. But, I mean, overall, some people don't handle, like you were talking about, addiction and stuff like that well. And it just would have, I feel like, caused more problems for the city. But not right away, but 10 years from now, it would have caused problems,
I believe that area, no matter how much, you got to take from something, you got to take from an area just to get that establishment how it needs to be. And I believe that basically throughout the time, in the period of basically trying to get what their envisionment was to try to sit there and get it to what it needed to be, it would have took a whole lot of taking from everywhere else, obviously taking from taxpayers and all this stuff, like it just didn't need it, especially in the location that is. And believe it or not, people may say, "Oh, well, that's it," but it could have something like that could increase the crime rate just as well.
Yeah. See, like I said, I mean, it's just so much stuff. I mean, it could go either way. My opinion, like I said, is mixed, but I mean, I'm more against it than for it. And I mean, they're going to bring it back up. It's going to come back up because what they're doing is they had one vote for the city of Richmond. Everybody said no. Then they got another vote. Everybody said no. But obviously at this point in time, they trying to force feed it to you. And a lot of things like that, when they force feeding you, it's going to happen. You just don't know when, The city wants a casino, and that's a lot of money coming in. But the money, it's funny, the money is coming directly out of the community. Well, not just the community, but coming directly out of people's pockets.
Out of people's pockets, man.
Directly,
and people don't even know it.
Yeah, you're taking this $5 and you putting it in this machine thinking you're going to get $100,000, and you're not, You could, but you're not, So you're taking your money, and that's what's feeding, that's what's paying for it. So it's like we could take our money, put our money together somehow, and do it another way, because that's all we're basically doing, is taking our money, giving it to a machine, and that's how they're putting all our money together. And looking at it like this, like if you make $20 an hour, right? Mm-hmm. You using $15 of your $20 an hour for bills, right? Mm-hmm. You only got $5. You only got $5 left, right? Mm-hmm. So you could take your $5 and buy some sneakers. You could take your $5 and save it. You could take your $5 and go to the bar, which is another thing for the community, like a restaurant. But you only have $5. So if you're taking your $5 out of your $20 you're making an hour, and you put it into the slot machine, that's also killing the businesses that you've been going to before then, because you only have $20. So you can go and get your side job, but that money that you have is all the money that you have, So you're just going to squeeze out. You're just going to use that money somewhere else. So what about the local bars? Because now everybody going to the bar and the casino. What about the local, restaurants?
People miss that, bro.
Yeah,
you just put a perfect example on that, because just with that big establishment, you're really taking more and more from the.
You're taking more money. It's like a Walmart. You putting, just like a Walmart in a neighborhood. Like Walmart suck too, because they kill the small business, and you so dependent on a Walmart. We're gonna be so dependent on this casino that if something goes wrong with this casino, you're gonna have to pump money into this casino just to keep it going because we're gonna be living off of this casino. Like this is gonna be our main stream of income. So if anything ever go wrong, COVID, something like COVID, or we seen this stuff. So if something go wrong where you can't have this casino open, and this is our main vein, it's killing us. So it's just gonna be the Walmart. Like I don't know how you feel about Walmart. That's how I feel about the casino. Like Walmart is good because it's convenient. It's nice to have. It got everything there. But ultimately, Walmart is killing any community. I mean, not just Richmond. I mean, Walmart and big establishments like that is killing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, big. I agree with you also on that. I believe that, when it comes down to a whole lot of small businesses that like try to like get like certain things off, or other little businesses that try to do the little contracting things out as well to try to like get business in. I mean, Wawa, it's just like when I like label like to Wawa's, Walmart, all of those certain things, it's just like how you just said, it's just convenient.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the economy and just like the world base, just like they just create a whole lot of things that's just more convenient instead of like more shelters.
It's all about
more jobs.
It's all about
like,
big business, right?
Yeah, and it's just like things like people don't realize, like we're at a time right now in the community, like people are putting millions to thousands of dollars only into things that are convenient.
Yeah.
Like you can have something that's basically going to sit there and cure cancer. They're not going to pay attention to that.
No.
You want it, but if you sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to create something to where it's basically you can sit there and have Tabasco, you can sit there and fill up gas there, plus you can sit there and eat there. All you got to do is put stuff in the press of a button, put it in. They're jumping straight to it.
Yeah.
Jumping straight to it. And I mean, it's just like, man, me personally, I look into deeper stuff than that. Like I look into like, let's build like a youth to where kids if kids that have problems or that have a disorder, let's build more facilities than that than having to build like a new Wawa.
They were trying to say that with the casino, the city doesn't have money, so what they're doing is they're taking investors or taking a group of people and putting this casino there, and the casino is gonna build a youth shelters and all that stuff, So that's what they was trying to say, but I just don't see it working per se like that. I mean, I just felt like it worked a different way. I just feel like you fattening somebody's pockets, and they're probably gonna keep wanting to get fat and fatter,
Well, this is what I say to this, and this is my theory why I call being woke. Let's get one thing straight. That may sound good on paper, that may sound good to the press, but you got to realize you're gonna say anything that you have to say to get where you need to get.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that statement isn't true, but best believe before that statement even thinks about happening, that person who made that statement, he's going to make sure that he's good first.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody has to understand and like have to realize. Like these commitments, oh well, yeah, we're gonna make these commitments, we're gonna make this commitment, and then like you just go straight forward instead of understanding, okay, what's the background on this guy?
Yeah.
What does this guy do? I mean, what does he have going on? Why is he trying to sit there and force this on so vividly and trying to guarantee, results so quickly, when in reality results just don't happen as quickly.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes time and it takes period. And it's like the non-understanding fall for it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a big thing to whereas if you want to pull the race card in it, or if you want to just sit there and just be like, oh well, you know what I'm saying? It's just the most devious people can attract the most ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's mind blowing because people will get upset at that statement I just said, but it's the truth. The most deviant people love getting the attention of the most ignorant, because you want to know what the most ignorant is going to do, the most non-knowing is going to do, they're going to agree to it.
Yeah.
But they're not going to agree to it to basically, okay, I know that, hey, the establishment is going to sit there and be 2% better than what it was 3 years ago. They're looking at it as, oh, yeah, this is a black guy. You know, he holding it down for the brothers and sisters, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to go with it because I just want to, I think that's rad to have a casino.
Now you're getting into the next subject I was trying to talk about is like politics and not to really base it off color, but to say like, okay, like you were saying, they trying to force feed you. So when you look at certain political parties, they saying like he's black and he's gonna do this particular thing, and I'm not saying I'm a Republican or a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a open-minded guy, and like they try to force feed you this casino, right? And certain parties is trying to force feed certain things on you, but they're not keeping up with that word, you know. But here lately, as things is going on, you just realize how crooked the world is, you know. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the politics of it, but certain parties or parties, both sides, they gonna give you something. They're going to give you a selling point, you know. They're going to try to sell you on something, you know. And I just feel like us as individuals, not just because you're black or white, we need to start making decisions, not off of this is what we've been doing for a long time, but actually sitting back and watching what's going on around us. And I'm not saying to pick a certain side, but don't just go with what they're giving you. Like, and I'm not, like I said, I'm just telling people, like always, do your research, because when they give you something, they always taking something, and it's just picking the lesser of the evils. And sometimes, you know, one side you just need to do your research. Just like with this casino, do your research, and try to figure it out, because sometimes they give you something that they want you to take, but they're taking something else from you. Now both sides, you know, with the Democrats right now, they feel like they have the black vote or the city vote or the poor vote. They feel like they have it in the bag, so they really don't care about us no more, you know. And with the Republican Party, they trying to get our vote, so you know they gonna start doing certain things to get our vote, say certain things or not say certain things to try to get our vote. So I say that to say, because the election just passed, I say that for people not to just go to the ballots and just pick, okay, this person Democrat. Like, just actually do your research on people, you know. And that's the same thing with the casino. Like, do your research, man. Like, see what this person really stands for. Like, you know, you really gotta not just vote one way. Now, Trump, he was a tough character or whatever, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but this is just me just telling people to really sit back and do that research. I'm not trying to tell them to vote for a certain type of side or nothing like that, but when you voting for stuff, it's important. Like what, maybe 100 years ago, or 100 years ago, 100 years ago, like people like me and you couldn't vote, so we got this opportunity to vote, and just do your research, man. Like, I'm not telling you to vote for nothing. Just do your research. When it comes to the casino, like, don't just look at it for you. Look at it for your child in the future. You know, look at it like that. And if you feel like it's better, it's better. But we can't get angry at each other because one person voting this way and one person voting that way, because ultimately it's splitting us up. You know, ultimately, the only thing that really matters is the local voting. But that's the thing we do the least. Like, we vote for the president, but the president could care less about Chesterfield, Hanover, or any of that. All he care about is this vote. Stuff.
That
you know?
vote. And
then, like, another, my bad, man.
No, you good. No, you
another
good.
Thing that's upsetting right now is, I mean, I don't know what's going on overseas with the wars and stuff. And like I said, I'm not picking a certain side, but it's tough to look at when, I mean, it's not just black or white, man. It's not black or white, man. I'm not even trying to break it down to that. But you know that we giving $1 billion, $1 trillion to this country overseas, and now we giving $1 billion, $1 trillion to another country overseas. What's up with the Americans getting that money? So what you wonder, what's the ties to it? You know, why is they doing this? And I'm not picking a side. Once again, I'm just saying, like, when you see that, it's kind of frustrating because, like, look at how many things need to be done in our country over here right now. You know, and it's just like we have all this money to give, and it comes down to, is money fake? Like, if you got all this money to give, but we in all this debt, is money even real? That where's this money? If we already in so much debt, how we giving so much money to other countries? And this is like everybody is feeling this way. And I mean, maybe we do gotta support the countries. You know, maybe it's like our little brother or whatever. But when you're looking at it from my aspect, I'm just trying to figure out, like, when you what about the help over here? Like, we talking about giving that much money away, that money could be useful over here. I don't know the background of it, but that's what I think when it comes to, and that's why I say watch who you voting for, because I mean, like I said, just watch who you voting for, like, and just like I said, that stuff really doesn't matter, honestly. But because all that really matters is what's going on locally, because really the wars and stuff that's going on, it's affecting us, but it's not affecting us. But so, like I said, it comes back down to local government. That's who really affects us, like, because they changed the local laws. When you get a parking ticket, that's the local people. When you get all this stuff, it's local people. So that's what it really boiled down to. But just knowing who you voting for, man, and just knowing when something goes sour, what they gonna do. And like I said, I'm not saying giving money to people overseas is bad. I know I'm talking a lot, but
No, you're fine.
I know that they're giving this money for a reason, and it might be to help us. But it's frustrating for us to be seeing, like, where's that money to help small businesses, you know, farmers or whatever, to help small businesses grow and help the country grow. But obviously, what's going on in the other countries is more important. And I'm not saying it's not. You know, I don't know what's the background behind it, but I'm just saying it's just tough to see all this money going away from us, you know. And by us, I don't mean there's a lot of guys in my job that watch this, so I try not to be too racial, because sometimes they feel the same way I feel. I mean, it's all about separating us, and that's not my thing. I'm not trying to separate black from white, although I know I'm black, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to, like, bring us together. That's what this is all about, like, bringing us together.
But you see what you just said? How basically, you know, how they try to separate it. You got to realize the things that you just sat there and said, and I mean, they probably won't agree with me, but it's the truth at the end of the day. The same way how we go through things throughout our jobs and whatever, how the government is doing things, it's all business.
Yeah.
It's all like, and people got to realize when I say that, I'm not just talking about just regular business to where it's you just go to your job and, hey, you know, you got a set job you got to sit there and do, and then, you know, once you do that, you know, for you to sit there complete that job, this is how you able to sit there and pay for yourself. Like that type of business that they do, to where it's basically we don't know answers and they manipulate, like that is business times 10.
Yeah, we just don't know. Yeah, you're
and
right.
You got to realize when you're business and when you do things that consist millions to trillions of dollars, you're going to say, you're going to do, and you're going to manipulate a lot to the people that are going out doing these things for them to get this money, for them to get this land, for them to sit there and sit all, like, all this stuff takes us still to sit there and make this happen. But you got to realize the number one thing that people don't want to hear the truth, but it's the truth at the end of the day. You're willing to listen to these, you're willing to listen to these people. Yeah. You're willing to sit there and take these people. You're willing to let them people sit there and tell you that, yeah, it's a racial thing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we gotta really try to end that, man.
And it breaks my heart, because it's, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Yeah. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. At the end of the day, if you believe that basically they're doing what they're doing out of spite, or if you go, well, I think they're doing the right thing, well, guess what? Just as much as you're entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to mine.
We can't hate each other for that, though.
But and that's our problem. And that's why till this day, things are going to continue to be what they are. as much as we sit there and pray for happiness, as much as we pray for betterness, it's going to continue being this way until we have to understand the fact of the matter is, you have your beliefs, I have my beliefs.
Yeah, that's what it really comes to. I mean,
people have to understand that basically just because somebody doesn't agree of what your belief is or what your statement is, that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make them a bad person.
Yeah.
But we're in a society now that people, they get hurt by it off the fact that basically someone not seeing their vision.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like all I'm trying to preach is, or talk about is just, I guess, loving one another. I mean, that sounds kind of weird, but
it doesn't.
I mean, if you think about instead of when you vote, maybe not think so much about you or your kids. Think more about your kids' kids. Think about that there's gonna be changes in this world. Changes are gonna come, and it's just voting. Maybe not even for like just think about like I think me working at a job where it's a lot of people of another ethnicity there, it really has opened my eyes to some things. And I mean, I just feel like those are good dudes. They got different opinions than me, but it's just that I feel like being a certain color or a certain way or a certain, you get stuck in a box with those people that think just like you. So me and you met from working, right? And when we worked there, it was mostly a bunch of a certain race there. So when you hanging with that certain race, you start like going extremely with that certain race. But when you start working with somebody else from another race or maybe a female or something, you kind of slowly start adjusting yourself to another thinking. And that's what's good for the world. Like, I just feel like we need to be more, like we need to have more access to people of different colors. But not just like hatred-wise. Like when you look at the schools, like when you go to school, my school, Highland Springs, was like mostly black. So I had mostly black ideals, you know what I'm saying? And the white kids or the kids of other race, they had mostly black ideals because they went to school with black people. Mm-hmm. So you go to a school with white kids, it's mostly, so it's still like kind of like separated. And I feel like the schools is the only place you really can, start like, I mean, it just, not schools, but I'm just saying, like, you need to work. We need to be more around more people that's not like us. You know what I'm saying? Open our eyes to stuff, and so we won't hate people like that. And like, I'm not saying that black people are a certain way or white people are a certain way, but just being around different people, you start to love those type of people. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you kind of open minded, and you see that. If I grew up on a farm, I'm going to have farm idealisms, you know what I'm saying? And if I grew up in the city, I'm going to have city idealisms. But just because I never been around nobody like you, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of what, it helps us grow. But it also, like, helps things easily get separated. Because you never met a white guy from the country, and they never met a black guy from the city, it's hard to understand. But when you start talking, sometimes y'all got the same ideas, you know? And I just think people need to stop having so much hatred, do their research, and realize like this politics stuff is just all a game, because they mingling and partying, both sides mingling and partying with each other.
Who's gonna be the richest? That's basically.
But no, they ain't even that. They getting rich together. Getting rich together. That's the point.
And that's the point of it all. At the end of the day, like we're casting these votes. Not only basically off of predictions of what they're trying to portray that could happen, may happen immediately, some may not happen until years from now. But you got to realize all that stock, all that stuff, that basically the effort and stuff that you putting in, just to make sure who's getting in office next or whatever. Like you guys got to people got to realize you're building this up. It's just like a boxing match, Tyson versus Lewis. Like what I'm saying.
Imagine it's a boxing match where the two boxers after the fight that you voting on or you going for is going partying together, playing golf together. So
because they're rich, rich now just off of what that bill that you guys allowed us to be and off your votes or whatever.
So they fighting for money, you know, and we got to pick. Oh, I picked Tyson. I picked this person. But when the fight's over, they come out. And they hugging each other, and they going playing golf together, and they doing all this. And we the ones that's really fighting, bleeding and stuff. picking sides when they not really picking sides, man. They buddy, man. They like each other. Like
all this
they
is
like
drama
each other.
class. Believe it or not, even with the boxing today, the games, the NFL, like believe it or not, when like Stephen A. Smith, all these people, like you got to realize people like fiend off of these agendas that people are putting out.
Yeah.
It's an attention.
Everything's agenda.
Thing.
Even
it's just.
So we got our next subject now, because I mean, so even down to that. So we get to sports. So it's all agenda. You know what I'm saying? Even when it come down to it, like LeBron, he just scored all the most points ever. He just scored the most points ever, but people still saying that he's not the best, and that's agenda. Like that all comes down to agenda. We listen to other people tell us how to feel about sports instead of feeling how we like. Back in the day, if we would listen to the agenda back in the day, Allen Iverson was the worst person in the world. But now, and Dennis Rodman, like, look, I'm sorry, but I remember back in the day, Dennis Rodman was the weirdest guy. Everybody thought he was a weirdo. He could ball, but everybody thought he was a weirdo. But now when you look at NBA, like, Allen Iverson and Dennis Rodman is like the biggest influences in the NBA now. You know, just the freedom of being able to be yourself. But like I said, if you listen to that agenda, like we was talking about, you wouldn't see it. You know, but I see it.
Can I say this? And I just want to put my opinion to it, because plenty of people will always sit there and say the Jordan, who's better, Jordan or LeBron. Me personally, a lot of people will sit there and go down the list about all Jordan's accomplishment, all LeBron accomplishments, and this, that. This is my true opinion. People don't have to go about this way that I go about it, but I just want to bring people back to a nature fine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the candy bar. I want people to understand that when you debate who is the best basketball player, I feel, and I stand on this, you don't have to stand on it, I feel at the end of the day, you need to go by positions.
Yeah.
I cannot sit there and go on when people sit there and say, when I look at these comments on Instagram, when I sit there and see these people respond about, oh, who's better, LeBron? It's all for show. It's all for entertainment to get all these people riled up debate, because you got Jordan people, and then you got LeBron people. But at the end of the day, and they hate each other. But the thing about it is, if you got somebody with like somewhat of common sense, you'll sit there and look at it. Well, you're debating on a small forward being better of a shooting guard. Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it as, okay, who is the best? Like this is how I look at it. Jordan is the greatest shooting guard of all time. LeBron James is the small forward of all time. Okay, how can I put a debate on a shooting guard and a small forward of who is the best out of all? Because the way I see it, at the end of the day, the person who scored 100-point, God rest his soul, Wilt Chamberlain. Anybody who scores 100-point within so-and-so time limit, what's the name of it? That's daughter. But guess what? They're quick to sit there and use that excuse. Oh, well, back then rules weren't like how the rules are now. Okay, so the era that Jordan was in, they weren't as fast as how they are now. They weren't as tough. They were tough. Don't get me wrong. The fouls were much crazier and harder back then. Like, because people always say, well, LeBron couldn't last in Jordan's era. But you got to realize, like, I don't know if you remember, take a look at this joint, bro. But I know you saw the referee when they was doing a whole bunch of fixing the games.
Oh, I was just watching that.
Yeah, what's name? Like people got to realize, like, fixings of the games, this isn't just happening now. This shit been happening.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I'll get back to that stuff.
I was watching a podcast that had Rasheed Wallace, and I used to be like one of my favorite players. Rasheed Wallace. First of all, I want to say, why you even got to pick who the best is? You know what I'm saying? But I was watching a podcast, and Rasheed Wallace was talking about the ref or whatever. He was saying that he knew that ref was like that before, but the NBA comes down. Like, this is why I say you don't know who the best really is, because they say, like, weekly the NBA changes the rules, and not changes the rules, but like, so say yesterday these refs missed a bunch of travel calls, so that means that the next game you gonna be calling a whole lot of travel calls, because yesterday people was complaining about they was calling, so they know this week they're gonna be calling the travel calls.
But you want to know the sad thing about it is, and I hate to cut you off, but you want to know what's so sad about what's going on right now? That's how you know the league is just getting so bad. you're going to get charged. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm just going to throw a number out there, but you're getting charged damn near in the thousands for flopping now.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
like I'm not talking about basically okay, they just call a foul.
And they're getting technicals for it too.
Yeah, like no, they're not only getting technicals, but if you flop in a game, you're not only getting a technical, but you're getting fined for flopping.
Yeah, that's
like that's the most crazy. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, the game has gotten so soft now to the point where basically, okay, if the refs are like, okay, if we can't control Vegas how we want to control people, we're gonna put these players in line. So even if you got bumped real hard, if it even looked like you all over the place, we finna call it. And I mean, it's just they taking the passion, the passion out of the game, bro. Because like back in the day, like you said, Dennis Rodman will sit there and dunk the ball, show passes, slap the backboard or whatever. No technical, another call. Man, it's 2 games that I seen yesterday. People just off of energy. Giannis Antetokounmpo literally got ejected from the game from something. Like I get it was a stare down, you know what I'm saying, you dunked him, you stare down, but you got to realize people come to see that. People love the build of an energy of a rivalry team. See, these guys are so quick to think that these guys are going to go out here and throw bowls. Like nobody's going to come out here and throw bowls. Nobody's going to sit there and come out. Do you know how much they lose if they had to sit there and do that? And if it does come down to that, guess what, you done got half of what that salary you guaranteed to that man back. These players know what and what not to do, but when you take the passion away, when it's like the league wants these guys to literally just go down the court, shoot, and then rush back down to the other guy. No emotion, no nothing. They don't want none of that.
But my question is, all right, so remember when you was a little kid, nobody really talked about who the best was. Everybody had a favorite player. But we're talking about the agenda. Like, why is, like, everybody's favorite player is either, like, LeBron or John Morant. But, like, remember back in the day, you used to have, I was – fair to say my favorite player was like Gilbert Arenas. You know what I'm saying?
My favorite player.
Like now we got to pick who the best is. But back in the day, you just picked the favorite player. Like you had a team, you had a favorite, like Dirk Nowitzki. Some people, my boys like Dirk Nowitzki. Like you had but now it's like you got to pick these people.
You got to pick between these people.
Like you had Tracy McGrady. You had Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson,
Steve Nash.
You had Michael Finley. I mean,
Michael Finley.
Sean Marion. You got all these players, and like us trying to figure out who the best is. I feel like we're losing a lot of players in the wind of who's the best when we had so many great players in the league, man. I mean, just so many. And even now, like, we arguing about is LeBron the best. LeBron's good, you know. Jordan was good, but I don't want, like, these players that was under them to lose, like, how good they was.
And that's that's why I bring back up to what I said before. I can't go into a debate about who was better, a small forward or a shooting guard. Like if you want to sit there going to the debate of basically if you do it point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, if you want to do it that way, then I agree with the debate of basically with doing that. But I will never sit there and tell you that LeBron is better than Jordan and Jordan is better than LeBron. I can't do that because they're in 2 different. Like Jordan is a damn shooting guard, bro.
Yeah, what's scary about sports is, like, and life in general, it's all about politics. So we sitting on the bench, and you might be getting 30 points a game, and I might be sitting on the bench just out of college, and I know I can get 30 a game, right? But you the star player, you get hurt. What's the first thing that person sitting on the bench? He gonna score 30 a game too, right? Look at Cam Thomas from the Nets. Like this man, somebody went down, he came in, he was averaging 30. Like everybody on that bench can score 30 points. It's just the opportunity. Now some guys get the opportunity and they kind of in and out with it. But most of them guys, when they come off that bench, they can score 30. But then, like I said, when you got stars like LeBron and stuff like that, it kind of like, oh, he's starting every game. But I feel like everybody in the NBA can get you 30. Everybody, you give them the ball enough, they get you 30. I mean, everybody's talented in the NBA. And then some guys that's not even in the NBA that could be better.
Cross-seas, doing their thing, bro.
So it's all about politics. And like, we picking the best, but we'll never really know who the best is because the best could have passed away or could have been pushed out of the league or whatever. So that's why I say I don't like to really talk about who's the best because there was just so many players that when I was younger that influenced me. You know, like it won't just Jordan influence me. It won't just LeBron influence me. It was a lot of other players that influenced me. I mean, and it won't just Allen Iverson. You know, you think about Mutombo. Mutombo. I used to think about how we used to play live back in the day. You used to play 2K back in the day. and you used to pick all these teams. You weren't picking just LeBron. You was picking the team that you thought you could do the best with. So you knew all the good players back in the
good players. Steve Nash, Phoenix Suns, Amari Stoudemire,
all those guys, man.
People,
Rajah Bell.
People don't see Larry Barbosa. Like, come
Barbosa,
on,
So
bro,
you look at
people not trying to go back.
We only see LeBron and Jordan, and I feel like we washing so many good players away. Like, we washing them, like, we don't even talk about them because we're only talking about two guys. And that's why I say, if I do talk about sports and podcasts, I'm not trying to not to focus. So, like, LeBron, he did his thing, but I try to focus on, like, the hidden talents, the talents. Like, if I can do anything, I could boost somebody up. There's somebody watching, boost somebody up, but that's on the bench. Because because all these mainstream people is doing what mainstream people do. They're pushing the narrative. They're pushing the agenda.
Narrative,
They're pushing the agenda. So by talking about LeBron every day, LeBron is already a billionaire. We don't got to talk about LeBron so much. Let's talk about Cam Thomas, or let's talk about like Jordan Poole. Well, Jordan Poole rich too, but you know what I'm saying. Let's talk about these guys that nobody's talking about because they stars and such too. That's the purpose. Like I said, another purpose to push another agenda. Like, we're not going to talk about LeBron all the time. Because look, everybody knows LeBron is great. Nobody can sit here and say LeBron sucked. Nobody can sit here and say Jordan sucked. But like I said, it's just so many other talents, man.
But I tell you one thing, and it's a gift and a curse, and people don't realize it. But the same way how when Jordan left, it was a new beginning.
Yeah.
When LeBron leave, it's gonna be the same thing.
It's scary, man.
It's scary. Yeah,
LeBron leaving.
Just
scary.
like,
Think about it.
But see, that's the thing. That's why I feel all the people who are Jordan fans go as hard as they do.
Jordan's gone.
Because when Jordan left, it was just like that was it.
Yeah.
And people really were crushed by that. Like, you know what I'm saying? People were crushed by that because it was always
earlier. Things change, man. You gotta adapt to the change. Like, LeBron, he already 38. Or 40 or whatever he is, his time is coming. It's almost there.
Me personally, I don't care what no one says. Everybody always sit there and say, "Oh well, Jordan stayed with one team and he got all this rings." And will always forever be my debate with Jordan. I'm not taking nothing away from Jordan. Jordan was a splendid player, but you have to realize Jordan had role players just as much as the role players LeBron had in Miami.
Jordan didn't have? Instagram. And Facebook. I mean, now let's be honest, man. Like, think about the league. Think about it, man. The league now with them same guys that were in the 90s, like, they wouldn't even be in the league now. Jordan wouldn't even be Jordan because I don't think Instagram, like, he put any of that stuff that he was doing behind closed doors on Instagram, he wouldn't even be in the league.
The reason why I can't agree with you, bro, I lie to you not. I looked at a post on Instagram yesterday, and they literally showed. Even though we didn't have Instagram, they didn't have Instagram and stuff back then, they used to, on NBC, whenever they presented the games, they always used to do a little small PowerPoint, like a little small video intervening Jordan. Now finna face the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
He just recently sit there and swept them off the last go-around that they just played, and Jordan Starks and so-and-so, Patrick Ewing. Can he fix the task this time? Stay tuned. But they built it the same way how we building it up on Instagram. They used to build it, but see, the reason why they shit was even more toxic is, see, when we didn't have cellular devices like this back then, television was taking over big time. Like, they treated like how we would look, like how you would look at General Hospital.
Yeah.
They took a part of that drama and put it into the NBA sports. Like, believe it or not, things not only got competitive, but they got personal. Because how do you think back in the day player felt that basically, man, I'm a good talent. Why the heck Jordan always got to sit there and get an intro to his games? Why they got to make a storyline to things? You see what I'm saying?
But did you know who on what team was trying to date who? Like, now, like, we got, like, small stuff. I'm saying, like, when I say Instagram changed it, like everybody say, all right, you look at it like this. So Jordan, I mean, like LeBron, right? He don't get in no trouble or whatever. And, you hear little things and they sweep it under the rug. What I'm saying is, would Jordan be Jordan if Jordan had Instagram? So not just Instagram about the drama, but I'm saying Instagram just in general, like if you knew Jordan's every move, would people still love Jordan? If you knew Jordan's, like, LeBron's every move, every day LeBron is posting on IG. If you knew Jordan's everyday move and how Jordan really felt, you would be more opinionated on Jordan. You know, if you knew all these guys in the 90s opinions, like you would be really your opinion would really change. You know, and that's why some people don't like LeBron is because they know his every move they know. And that's why I say Jordan. If you knew,
bro, how did you not know Jordan's every move? Like Jordan was what LeBron was before LeBron became anything. Like you got to understand, who do you know as an NBA player that not only won championship, has a #1 damn near diamond movie of the world, and damn near couldn't even act worth a damn in Space Jam.
But would you want Jordan if you knew that Jordan and his players was doing coke in the locker room, like we know now, or drinking in the locker room? Would you still love Jordan the same?
Man, Jordan, I guarantee you, Jordan was just as much as part. I'm not saying the man was putting white in his nose, but I guarantee you, Jordan was just as much around that than what LeBron is around it now. Like, believe it or not, they were more lenient back then to letting people.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, like, social media and the agenda we was talking about earlier, it influences us a lot. But if you put Jordan, being the marketing guru that he is, you put him on Instagram or Facebook, and you start seeing like him endorsing certain stuff, people gonna fall out of love with him, you know. And that's what I'm saying. Like the agenda wanted Jordan to be the best, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
I see what you're
saying.
Yeah.
Like the agenda, like Jordan probably was the best, but you know, you hear people talk, you be like, oh, John Starks, he was just as good as Jordan, you know. So you hear like I hear my dad talking about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, huh? He was like, man, you go look at the tape. He gave this man, he gave him buckets a few times. You like, they won't go push the John Stocks agenda. You know what I'm saying? They won't go push it. They're not gonna push these people that's getting 30 points a year.
Exactly.
They're not gonna push that agenda. So, and what I'm saying that once again, I'm just saying all this to say, don't just listen to people tell you that Jordan was the best when everybody it's more people that's putting up numbers. So us arguing about these people at the top, it's phasing the whole NBA out because now you look at it, the top players, it's top heavy. The top players is getting billions of dollars, and the middle players is getting paid nothing. And that's basically what's happening in the world. The top people is getting paid a whole lot of money, and the bottom people is getting paid nothing because it's all about the agenda. Like everybody want to hear about LeBron, but man, I'm telling you, man, it's people out here that ball, play football, all that. That's getting buckets, man.
Joker, what is it?
Yeah, look how long it took for people to figure him out. Like, look how long, and they still don't talk about him.
Man, that I'm letting you know right now, and like I said, I'm telling you right now, people will get mad about this, but I'm telling you, Joker, bro. What is it?
I know what you're saying.
I'm trying to tell you, these guys overseas, Embiid, Luka, Joker, bro, I'm trying to tell you, these guys overseas are literally taking the game over. And it's like they say it all the time. They say that basically it's harder to play overseas than it is the NBA. That's scary.
Yeah,
that's scary because we look at how they play, like how the NBA plays, and we think like, oh, what thing? Like, you can't be like, you got to be tough or whatever to be in there. But for these guys to come across seas and sit there and say, oh, it's easier to play here than that. And Luka, and like I said, you can't say they call it out because they damn near averaging a double every game. Yeah, bro, it's not one time.
It's the play style. I think overseas you can't play 2-3, or overseas you can play 2-3. It's one of them, and so that means that the middle. When they say that it's not easier, but I guess they're saying that over here in an NBA that the middle is open, like because the center can't stay in one area for so long. But overseas, when you go in there, somebody's always in the middle. So here in the NBA, it's not the players are better, but the rules are made more for the stars. Once again, the agenda is made for the stars. It's made for the people that can do certain things. Like they saying, like now the mid-range game is gone because you either gonna shoot the three. It's all about analytics. So once again, the agenda, the analytics is the big thing.
In all honesty,
nobody shoots mid-range shots. DeRozan is like the best mid-range shooter, and I'm not saying that's only because I'm watching DeRozan. It could be somebody better at mid-range shooting, but that's what DeRozan is known for. Mid-range
as of right now, what's the name? Yeah, as of right now, game wise, you pinpoint on it. DeRozan is when it comes to how he gets his points, like how to get like consistent to it. Like DeRozan is the man with the mid range.
Well, a lot of players now are saying that it's saying like coaches don't want you to shoot the mid range. It's not a statistic. Once again, comes down to, like I said, people need to do that research. It's coming down to people either want to see a three or a dunk. They don't want to see the mid range is boring now.
And that's why I believe, even with LeBron still being in the league to this day, this is a Stephen Curry world.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, outside of everybody else, even with LeBron being at the state that he is or whatnot, people weren't pulling up at the logo. Like, don't get me wrong, people were doing it, but it was every once in a while. You never had, like, believe it or not, Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas was the one that started.
Gilbert Arenas was the one. But, like, if we want to be realistic, Gilbert Arenas, he shot that ball, but Gilbert Arenas did more than just shoot a three. Gilbert Arenas was score the mid-range. He was scoring inside the but he would back smaller point guards down. Curry, you got to realize Curry is just, like, bro, he's just ridiculous, bro. And it's like, do you know, like, people just think that basically it's just a natural gift. Bro, do you know how much training you have to go through to sit there and try to do hack shots? Meaning, basically, if you damn near getting hassled, like, I truly believe this man puts up literally 50 shots with a contested, like, people contesting him, damn near holding his arm up, just because I'm telling you, you can't just do that. You have to practice that shit.
All these boys
that, like, that's literally practice, bro. Like, you have to train your ass off to sit there and make contact threes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? And it's just like the reason why I say he changed the narrative, because people don't even realize when Curry had his special year to when he just broke out and just became the man, people got to realize Curry was already in the league 4 years prior.
Yeah, he had ankle injuries.
Yeah, he had ankle injuries and everything. Like, he was already there. He didn't have the bigger role that he had now. And see, that's another thing. I want to bring this topic up before we sit there and move on to the shouts out to Mark Jackson, because still to this day, Kerr may have all these championships with the Golden State. Like, he may have all these championships with Golden State, but Mark Jackson made that team.
Oh yeah, Mark Jackson. Yeah.
He made that team,
but
and
it didn't fit what they was trying to do, so they moved on from him. Yeah, Mark Jackson definitely made that team. He don't get enough credit for it, but people say he didn't. But
if you really look at it, the difference between what Mark Jackson was trying to do and what Kerr did, if you ask me, at the end of the day, Mark Jackson literally had all the pieces.
Yeah.
But he was running the game through Curry.
Yeah.
What's happening right now? As you can sit there and see, Steve Kerr is doing the exact same thing, with the exception of basically having Clay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I really felt that basically if they would have held on to Mark probably another 2 years prior before they let him go and brought Kerr up in there, that he would have been able to do, you know what I'm saying?
The exact same thing.
Yeah. But like I said, this is a special shout out to him. People may have their own opinions about it or whatnot. And it's, like I said, there's no disrespect to Kerr, and obviously it's not no race thing. Because like I said, Kerr was basically the main reason why that Phoenix Suns team was as good as it was that year. And as you can note, Steve Nash, Maury Stoudemire, Kurt Thompson, Sean Marion, Barbosa, Rajah Bell. Like I said, we went to the conference finals a couple times, but like I said, we just couldn't get over that hump.
Yeah. So, in closing, man. You got anything you want to say?
I would say just in general, just off of this, it just needs to be more. It needs to be more lecture to let people know that basically it's okay to be more open about certain situations, but understand that basically some people will agree, some people won't, and you can't be appalled about it.
Yeah.
You can't be upset because just as much as you may think that this apple is red, someone may sit there and think that the motherfucker is burgundy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But guess what? That's just, you can't judge that person.
Yeah.
You can't judge that person. You got to be like, okay, well, that's what you think it is, then hey, that's fine. And guess what? If it's one thing we agree on, it's a damn apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, people just need to sit there and look more into the meaning of a certain situation instead of basically just blatantly getting upset or just automatically disagreeing because they don't see it the way that you see it.
Yeah.
And outside of that, man, like when it comes down to the message overall that I just want to sit there and give to people whenever we do these talks and these conversations, like I just want to get people to understand that it's okay to speak up.
Yeah.
It's okay to speak up on things that basically that you want to have questions on, or you want to know answers to,
Yeah.
or you want to, you know, you don't know, and you want to get the good insight of it in a better way, like, you know what I'm saying, but you don't want to sound stupid or whatnot. Like it's okay to want to know. It's
Yeah.
okay to sit there and express how you feel about it.
Yeah.
But like the number one thing I just sit there and I tell everybody, you have to understand, you can get what you want, but you have to understand no matter what the response is, you have to understand just as much as you're entitled to wanting to know, that person is entitled to give you their opinion.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
And for real, that's just my wrap up for me personally. What you
Yeah,
got?
I'm pretty much with you. I mean, us as people, not just black or white or male or female, we gotta research and by research I'm not saying go to the places that you wanna see what you wanna see. You gotta actually do your research and realize that everything has an agenda. You know, I have an agenda. You have an agenda. I mean, everybody has an agenda. That's just part of being life. You know, but when you do your research, you figure out what could the agenda possibly be, or what the agenda could possibly not be, and you make wise decisions. Not every decision you make is going to be a good decision or a bad decision, right? But you make you do research. You don't just speak. You do your research. You don't just vote. You do your research. You make wise decisions. And just because you make this decision and somebody doesn't agree with it, like you said, doesn't make you a bad person or a good person. But at least you did your research and you did your due diligence as a citizen, you know. And you just don't play into. And if you want to play into the agenda, that's fine. But just don't automatically play into the agenda of things when it comes to sports or when it comes to voting or when it comes to selecting somebody for something. And when you do hear, like you said, when you do somebody doesn't do something, you have a right to speak up, you know, not to just be like, nah, you have a right to speak up, but try to do it in a smart, intelligent way. You know, don't just speak up and say you hate this person or start talking bad about them, but try to at least be understanding, because there's some stuff that people don't agree with, and some stuff you don't, but we should all be able to like express ourselves, good or bad. You should be expressing yourself, but you have to find the proper way. And it sounds corny, but you just got to find the proper way to express yourself. Like, don't just come out and with the nasties. You know what I'm saying? Come out and express yourself. And also with the agenda and with following the agenda, don't forget about the people, the little man. You know, when we talk about like these players that was on the bench, like, don't forget about the little man. Don't forget about your local politicians. Don't forget about your small basketball players. Don't forget your local basketball teams that's playing right now. Might be playing in the league. Go support them. Like, don't just think about the LeBrons, but go support local basketball teams. Go support local football teams. Like my girlfriend, she plays for flag football. Go support a flag football team. Don't just support the big. Like, don't just support the big. Support the little. It's plenty of talent around. It's plenty of podcasts around. You don't have to just watch this one particular podcast. Go support the little podcast. Go support, like I said, your local people, your local mayor, your local, whoever it may be, a local football player, your local basketball player. Go support a little league team. You know, donate to a little league team. Donate to a sports organization, or go support your high school team. And maybe not the best high school team. Go support a not good high school team. If the team is not a good, go support them. You know, uplift each other, because that's all it's about. We got to stick together. Don't even support a basketball team that's in your district. Go support a basketball team that's out your district. But we gotta stop following the agenda. You know, we gotta start following what they want us to do. You gotta kind of step out the box, because that's the only way we're gonna make a difference. Because if we keep on acting like they know, if they keep on thinking they know what we're gonna do, they're gonna keep thinking they know what we do.
Absolutely.
So you gotta sometimes kind of like step out the box with it. You know. And that's kind of what you were saying. I mean, like I said, I done said a lot, but I mean, got anything else, or you think we good?
I think we good, man. I think this was a good start off, and plenty more to come.
Yeah,
plenty more. We definitely sit there and need to have more opinions.
It's all about the conversation, man. It's all about like giving people the open mind, the open time to speak, and whoever you may be, like I tell people all the time, whoever you may be, you can come on the podcast and you're welcome, you know. I don't care what you got going on. You can come on and speak, but I mean, when you come on, we're gonna say how we feel and we're gonna talk it out. But we're not gonna have hatred amongst each other, you know.
Amongst each other, yep.
And we might not agree, but at least we can talk it out. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of things that's going wrong. Like people don't actually sit down and talk and try to show communicate and have compassion amongst each other.
You're absolutely right on that, man. You're absolutely right on that. And like I said, I believe the more we keep on doing this, the more, you know, intake that we're gonna sit there, get the more people that come and want to get have these conversations with us as well. Another opinion, you know what I'm saying? Someone else's opinion, sit there prolongs. And I mean, like I said, everybody has a voice. Even when you sit there and think that basically nobody's watching, someone's out there that's watching, and they also have the same agreements as what we're talking. So I believe we should keep on pushing this. We should definitely sit there and keep this going. But outside of that, until next time.
All right.
Well, I'm not gonna hold you.